Colchester may not live long in the memory, but there is a renewed resilience about Bristol Rovers these days, and Paul Trollope's team will need to show that same quality in tonight's crucial West Country derby with Cheltenham Town. Since beating the Robins here almost a year ago, Rovers have lost twice at Whaddon Road, so no shortage of motivation this evening. Well, Rovers have conceded just one goal in the last 3 games, a run that's coincided with the restoration of Craig Hinton to the defence. The Black Country boy produced a man of the match display on Saturday and will also be looking for a return to the scoresheet tonight, particularly as he was on target the last time these teams met here. Well, Cheltenham have a real battle on their hands if they're to remain at this level for a 4th consecutive season. A torrid run in October and November saw them lose 6 league games in a row, and they're currently without a victory in their last 7 matches, including 2 FA Cup meetings with Doncaster. Well, Hereford's revival means that Cheltenham are now just 1 off the bottom of League One, so the arrival of experienced defender Chris Westwood on loan from Peterborough is more important than ever. Although Westwood was acquired to strengthen the back line, he's proved himself quite a handful at the other end too, scoring in each of the last 2 matches. Well, it's a pretty hostile night at the Mem, rain sweeping over the ground. Not much fun for those Cheltenham fans opposite us with no cover at all. This evening's Young Pirates mascot is 11-year-old William Ward. We'll get a picture of him as soon as we can. We'll just introduce the officials then. First of all, the ref tonight is Mr. Rob Shoebridge of Derbyshire, assisted by Peter Grove and Richard Smith, both of the West Midlands. Let's look at the Young Pirates mascot then. Well, we've just got a little profile shot of him. There he is in the black Arab shirt. 11-year-old William Ward from Old Sodbury. He's in Year 6 at St John's Mead Primary School. He plays in midfield for the school and also in the same position for Yate Hockey Club, who've won the Avon League 3 times in a row. And William's favourite players are Joe Ford, Darryl Duffy and Chris Lines. The Rovers side in determined mood, looking to reverse the scoreline at Cheltenham back in the autumn when Rovers really battered Cheltenham Town. Martin Allen, the town boss, quoted this week as saying it was really one-way traffic for most of that night, but Cheltenham got the win at 2-1. One change to both sides as we get underway. For Rovers, David Pike comes in for Craig Disley on the right-hand side of midfield. Pike, who was a substitute for Disley in the second half against Colchester, and Cheltenham make one amendment to their lineup from Saturday's draw with Brighton. Josh Lowe, an old Rovers player, coming in for Nicholas Bignell. It looks as though Lowe is going to shape up on the left wing for Cheltenham. Cheltenham in change colours tonight of all yellow. Early touch for Lowe. Craig Hinton tucks it back to Steve Phillips, who made an early call for the ball. Steve Phillips continuing this remarkable run tonight. Rapidly approaching 2.5 years now without missing a first team game. Could be a nasty night for goalkeepers. It'll be a slippery ball. Not much rain in the Bristol area earlier today, but sweeping across the ground now as Cheltenham look to break. Vincent on that far side. Not far for those Cheltenham fans to come this evening. Header in, Phillips with work to do here, and he's got to claw that one away from goal. A really awkward moment. Rovers never convincing in getting the ball away. Josh Lowe was looking to pounce. Never managed a goal for Rovers in his time here in the late 90s. Would have loved to have got one there. It'll be Lowe now with the corner. And it's good work by Craig Hinton, but the decision goes Rovers' way. Good noisy support from the Gasheads in the Blackthorn end. Paul Trollope, I'm sure, would not describe this as a relegation battle. There's a bit of daylight now between Rovers and the bottom four, but with some big opposition still to come to the Mem and some tough away games too. Could really do with getting some more points on the board over the next few weeks to avoid an uncomfortable end to the season. Clearance straight back. Cheltenham off the boot of Craig Hinton. Rovers yet to settle. Ricky Lambert with the header on. He's still here. Kaffour looking to pounce. Lambert linked with all sorts of clubs. Sheffield United, I read in the News of the World on Sunday, and then there's this talk of a move to Huddersfield, but he's still here. Let's get the end of the month out of the way and see him still in the quarters. I'll be very happy if that's the case. Lescott's ball, not one of his best. Defending by Steve Elliott. Rovers still unbeaten in 2009, not the greatest boast in the world. We've only played 2 games, but it would be good to go on a run now. It's 3 in all, isn't it, because of that Christmas draw at Northampton. It's Lloyd Owusu and Alvis Hammond, the front 2 for Cheltenham. And Hammond, another former Rovers player. You've got a fairly long memory as well. Here a little bit more recently than Josh Lowe, the number 39 for Cheltenham, was on loan here under Jerry Francis in his second spell in charge 7 seasons ago, just when Rovers had been relegated from this division to the bottom stage. It's Jeff Hughes on that far side. Hughes, goal scorer at Orient 10 days ago. That crucial victory. 2-1. Lescott's throw. Aaron Lescott, I'm sure, would have been full of it in training on Tuesday after his brother's goal in the Merseyside FA Cup derby for Everton, giving the Toffees a 1-1 draw and a replay at Goodison. And he's very proud of his brother's achievements. And Jolyon, I know, supported Aaron at Stockport before Christmas. Went along to see the game at Edgeley Park, which Rovers unfortunately lost. Forward by Steve Elliott. Header on, it's looking for Kaffour from Lambert. No way through for Jeff Hughes. It's a bit like looking through a Dickensian London street scene at times, that far side, but we'll do what we can for you. This is Joe Cafour, and tied it up by Westwood, and then back to Scott Brown in the Cheltenham goal. Not had too much of a chance to speak about Brown yet, but we'll say more as the game goes on. He's in for Shane Higgs these days, who's been told he can leave Wadden Road after years of distinguished service. He's not in Martin Allen's long-term plans. Forward by Lescott. And the skipper, John Finnegan, to the way. Scrappy start to the game. Free kick goes Rovers' way. If you can see Mad Dog at the time, we'll have a shot of Mad Dog. It's right in the front. Steve Elliott then with free kick for Rovers. And Lambert looks as though he was tugged down. The referee not impressed by the appeal. That's given away badly by Josh Lowe and flicked on by Lambert, and some work there for Westwood to do, which he did emphatically, but Josh Lowe back in the Cheltenham team tonight, almost put his team under needless pressure there. Well, he did put them under needless pressure, almost cost them a goal. This is Lescott. Wants to cross it in with his right foot, which he does. Decent ball in, pipe on, looking for Cafour. More work for the Cheltenham defence to do, and a speculative effort from Chris Lines, but couldn't repeat his success in another West Country derby this season here against Swindon with that spectacular late equaliser, earning a draw against Paul Sturrock's team. So Scott Brown then with the clearance. He's had to wait a long time for his chance in the Cheltenham goal. Scott Brown. Shane Higgs played 51 games for Cheltenham, ever present last season. Brown didn't get a look in, but new manager, change of ideas. And Scott Brown suddenly the number one. But Shane Higgs, another former Rovers player, has now moved to Molineux on loan as Lambert looks to find Cafour. So decent chance for Higgs to prove himself at Wolves and maybe earn a permanent move there. This is Lescott. Forward by Elliott. Looks a bit optimistic, and indeed the flag goes up anyway against Joe Cafour. Games between Rovers and Cheltenham in the Football League absolutely even at the moment, with 11 played. Rovers have won 4, drawn 3 and lost 4. That record was starting to look pretty good, and it's looking a lot worse now. 2 defeats at Wadden Road in the last 12 months, and possibly another one here tonight. Awful mix-up in the Rovers defence, which has been really tight in recent weeks. But Cheltenham are gifted a goal in the derby. They're 1 up, a precious goal for them potentially. They're in severe danger of returning to the basement division, but that will boost them. Cheltenham Town in the lead. A goal given to Ashley Vincent. Joint top scorer for Cheltenham going into tonight's game. That now makes it 6 for the season. So delight for Martin Allen, who took over at Wadden Road from Keith Downing in September, a year after being sacked following a brief 4-game reign at Leicester. Allen's father Les actually managed Cheltenham in their non-league days, and what a start for Mad Dog tonight. 1-0 to Cheltenham, and that will ease the disappointment of Saturday when Cheltenham were 2-0 up against Brighton at Wadden Road with 12 minutes to go, and then just like you do when you're at the bottom of the league, they surrendered that commanding position and had to settle for a 2-2 scoreline. Neat work from Joe Kufor. Lambert, lovely vision, looking for pipe, just slightly overhit. Good idea from Ricky Lambert. That's the sort of passing that we've been used to from Lambo, as well as his goals. Something of a goal drought for him, of course, at the moment. 6 without a goal for him after averaging a goal a game for most of the early part of the season. Campbell's swift clearance. Ashley Vincent proving quite a competitor for Aaron Lescott. Stuart Campbell to Lescott, and it's a bit risky, but well played, Jeff Hughes. Cheltenham with a bold start to this game though. Oh dear, that was an awful slip from Steve Elliott, giving Owusu the chance, and the shot eventually going wide from Vincent. Again, the Cheltenham goal scorer, but it was an awful mistake by Steve Elliott on the greasy surface. Owusu stole in, and it was almost a second goal for Ashley Vincent. Kufor spreads it to David Pipe. Ryan Green in support. It comes to his compatriot, fellow Welsh international. Campbell's there as well to find Lines, who's been tugged down. Rovers free kick, that's a bit more promising. Rovers really cannot afford to lose this game. We're looking at this as one of those that presented the best chance of 3 points in the remaining weeks of the season. And to go a goal down so early on is something of a setback, but with Ricky Lambert standing over the ball, anything's possible. Jeff Hughes also close by, but it's Lambert, always rising and always going over the bar. Relief for Scott Brown, 23-year-old Cheltenham goalkeeper. He's actually the son of a professional tennis coach who I'm sure will be interested in the Australian Open at the moment. Andy Murray going out, of course, disappointingly in the 4th round. It's at times like this you can console yourself by saying, oh well, he is a jock after all. Always a safety net, that one. Ryan Green clears the danger. Cheltenham showing a real tenacity. It's good work that from Ian Westlake, bursting through midfield, on loan from Leeds United till the end of the season. Throw by Ridley. It was header back to his keeper in the end by Hinton. Jeff Hughes quickly closed down by the Cheltenham skipper, Finnegan. John Finnegan gave no time at all for Jeff Hughes to dwell on the ball there. Very popular player at Wadden Road, Finnegan. He showed his trademark fighting spirit there. And Lescott with the throw-in. Almost 5 years now since Lescott arrived at Rovers on loan from Stockport initially, helping Rovers stay in the Football League under the caretaker management of Russell Osman and Kevin Broadhurst. Enjoying a good run in the side now. So Rovers throw. Elliott's clearance came off Vincent. He's quick to support his defence, Ashley Vincent, the Cheltenham scorer. Cheltenham Town have taken a step towards their first league double of the season. Long way to go yet, but a terrific start to the game for the Robins. This is Joe Kufuor now. Set up a chance on the edge of the box. And it's gone out. The Rovers fans and players shouting for a corner. Aaron Lescott still awaits his first Rovers goal in that almost 5-year spell. Had a few close ones over the years. Quick to support the attack there, but couldn't get it on target. Steve Elliott took no chances, headed away from goal. Josh Lowe beaten to it by Ryan Green. Lee Ridley, former Scunthorpe United player, with the throw. It's come to Westlake. Oh, I think it was a pass. Looking for Vincent. Full Football League programme tonight. The pick of the games at the top of the Championship between Wolves and Reading. Jeff Hughes with the clearance. Quickly onto that was Chris Westwood. Cheltenham Town promoted to this level under John Ward via the playoffs in 2006. Then Ward left for Carlisle United at the start of last season. He was replaced by his assistant Keith Downing, and Downing was dismissed after an uncertain start to this season, but it was a bit rough, I thought, on Downing at the time, but a chance for Martin Allen to get back in. Pipe with the cross! That's an equaliser! And it's the end of Ricky Lambert's goal drought. Great work from David Pipe. Restored to the team, and that vindicates Paul Trollope's decision to put him in ahead of Craig Disley, and Ricky Lambert makes it 19. No, 19. He'd been stuck on 18 for a while. And Rovers back on terms. Let's go now, says Chris Lines, geeing up his teammates. Oh, we wanted Lambo to hit 20 goals by Christmas. He just missed that, but he could still hit 20 before the end of January, which would still be quite something. I think the last Rovers player to do that was Jason Roberts back in 2000. And more importantly, Rovers are back on level terms. It was a really well-made goal. David Pipe made good ground on the right-hand side. And it was an excellent low measured cross. It was tucked in by Ricky Lambert. We've not seen him score too many of those type of goals, really. It was more of a poacher's opportunist type goal. Sort that maybe the likes of Richard Walker used to get, and before him, people like Jamie Curitan, but he really attacked the ball well, Lambert, and it was a great touch to beat Scott Brown. 1-1. Cheltenham straight back on the attack though with Finnegan. Thought about a pass to Westlake. In the end, he's found Bird. Ball in, Phillips. Well, he's punched it. He's cleared the danger. He's punched to a good part of the field really as far as Rovers were concerned. That was brilliant from Lambert. That's what we'd miss if he went. Let's hope he stays. Green's header. Lambert's foul on Westlake. Free kick is left for the Bristolian, Josh Lowe, who made his league debut for Rovers back in the mid-90s. I think he was still 16 when he played his first game. He's actually moved away from the free kick now, and he's left it for John Finnegan, Cheltenham skipper. This is Ridley. Ryan Green in determined mood to deny the former Scunthorpe left back. Now this will be Josh Lowe. Make it Cheltenham's second corner. Rovers yet to force one. Pipe's header only to the feet of Josh Lowe, who dinks it back in goalwards. Phillips had made the dive. It was unnecessary because Lescott was there, but another anxious few moments in the Rovers' defence. Rovers really close to a mid-table position. It seems a little beyond their reach at the moment. A win on Saturday would have taken them to 13th. It wasn't to be though. 3 points tonight could take Rovers to an area nearer what Paul Trollope described as the remit for this season, a sort of upper mid-table finish, which would represent a continuation of the progress that's been in place since he took over with Lenny Lawrence in the autumn of 2005. Rovers finishing in a higher position every year since they took over than the preceding season. Cheltenham were looking dangerous there, and a really optimistic appeal for a penalty, getting the boos from the Rovers crowd.